They're a little nuts. I don't know what it is. Hey, good morning. Welcome back to Ohrmundt Simmentals. This is Chris. It is Saturday morning, and it is gorgeous outside. All right, so we're on that little bitty piece that's only like what, an acre and a half or something. We got 4 bales back here. We're gonna grab these, and then we got 15 on that hillside, and we're just gonna make that a load. Alright, so we're going to go up and grab another load of bales. Took a little bit of lunch. And cows are reminding me that I only gave them a very small chunk last night. Not sure where I'll put it in, but last night at like 8:30 they're still bellering. Apparently what I gave them was a little bit too small of a chunk. So apparently the cows informed me that I did not give them enough grass yesterday. So it is like 8:30 at night. Luckily it's a really nice night out, and we are giving them a fresh chunk, and they were gracious enough to stop. So I just gave them a really small chunk, and maybe I'll move them again tomorrow. But we're getting into that weedy patch over here, and we'll see how it goes. This is probably just going to be enough till tomorrow afternoon. I mean, there's a lot of material here, but if you look over where they came from, they definitely went at it. They still left some stubble, you know, 3, 4, 5 inches, some places 6, you know, but it's a small enough area that they've peed and pooped all over it, so they didn't quite make it, but that's all right. It is what it is. But so I gave them like a strip. I kind of knew that I was gonna have to move them again today, but we're going through those weeds, and I'm gonna give them another small strip today. So they've only got one thing to do, and that's smash down those weeds. So, but we'll get another load and probably get 2 this afternoon. Well, as long as I'm sitting here, I might as well show you what at least one of the issues with the 29 is today. So here's the relay that we pretty much are confident that is out, and we're honestly right now we're jumping it right there. The other issue we're having, and we thought this issue was solved, is that after you'd run this guy for like, you know, you'd run it hard for 4 or 5 hours or something, or even hard for like 2 hours, hour, whatever. And then you would go back and you try and start it and just did not want to start. It would have to sit for like an hour or something. And from all our looking and reading, because the starter over here is honestly, this is only like a year or 2 old. This is a completely rebuilt starter, and it's even what is it, the gear reduction starter, so it spins faster. So that should not be an issue. It has juice, has plenty of juice. And we kept reading, asked questions, asked other people, and got it down to, all right, it's maybe the injector pump, because it was the original injector pump to the best of our knowledge. At least it's the injector pump that's been on there as long as we've had it, and we've had it for going on 15 years. So last year we had the injector pump. We got a rebuild injector pump, and worked beautifully. Never had this issue again. until like Friday and now today. And really, we went up, got one load, came back, and it was shut off for what, the half hour or whatever that Dad did the unloading. And now I'm trying to start it and prick won't start. Dad thought maybe there's a possibility that our batteries are just getting old too. I don't remember how old the darn things are. So unfortunately, Dad was already ahead of me, like way up in the back field, like 2 miles away. So I mean, not a huge distance, but he's gonna just come back. And the cows are reminding me that, like, hey, remember us? So check out the batteries. They are from September of 17. So they are 5 years old. Not ancient, but probably right at that mark where they are starting to go down a little bit. Alright, so we're out with the cows again. Gonna give them another small chunk. Remember how I said Whitey Gergs, her steers are fine, or her bulls are fine, her heifers, cuckoo, cuckoo, they're little nuts. I don't know what it is. She's had, well, this is her third heifer, and she's had one bull. He was fine. I mean, granted, he was a steer. So I guess you kind of got to take that into account too a little bit, but at the same time, it's like we didn't have any issues with him. Like, we can move him around, do whatever we want with him. He wasn't a big deal. I mean, he was puppy dog. No, he wasn't puppy dog, but he was fine. You could do whatever you want. The heifers, she's hanging out around here trying to go under the wire, and I'm like 30 yards away and she won't come any closer. So, but she is such a nice cow. Like, she doesn't exhibit any of that stuff. Ever since we bought her, she has not shown any signs of that. But her heifer calves, that's a totally different story. Morning. I anticipated that, but that's all right. I gave them a pretty small chunk again last night because I'm trying to get them to beat up those weeds out there. All right, it's on the dock this morning. Last night I ran to AutoZone because they had one of those starter solenoid switches. It looks exactly the same, so hopefully it works. I've got the old one off. I've got the new one right here. So they're like identical. I mean, just very, very subtle differences. So hopefully this works, because this was only like 16 bucks with tax. So that was nice. And it was only a 10-minute drive to get there. So much better than the half hour to the John Deere dealer. Houston, we may have a problem. That is not supposed to do that at all. So this video may be jumping around a little bit, or you may think that I missed a whole bunch of stuff, but that is because I'm currently having, when I'm editing this video, I'm currently having some issues with my hard drive, because I go from my camera to my computer, and I have 2 hard drives, and the 1 terabyte hard drive that I put all my stuff on is giving me fits, and I've lost a few files. I'm trying to piece a video together that makes a little bit of sense, but it's like, where do I start and stop? So if you think I missed a bunch of stuff, I probably did. So hope you still like the video and continue watching, because hopefully it flows back into some normalcy. Yay, we're back at it. Like I shown before, this should not do this at all. And the only way that this would be able to do this, I'm 95% sure that it's because the bearing is out. That's the bearing we put in a month and a half ago. So, great. Trying to keep it PG here. So this is a good sign that there is an issue. That's not supposed to be like that. That's not supposed to do that. And that is very gritty. And then there's more over here. I tell you what, sometimes I do not learn my lessons. I already moved that post. I had a really small opening here and going into another really small opening. And I should know better. Well, sometimes it works just fine. Sometimes it doesn't work so well. Today it did not work so well. And Cora hooked the, they knocked the spool over and Cora hooked the line. And when she did that, she started taking off with it. Well then, that's the other spot where I did not learn my lesson, because this idiot grabbed both ends of the rope and thought, oh, I'll just grab this side and yeah, I'll be able to hang on to it long enough and the cow will just, you know, unhook it from her foot. Well, now I've got this massive rope burn on my finger right at the joint. I'm lucky it didn't cut in. Holy cripes. So we've got a couple of stragglers, but that is all right. We'll get them where they need to go. Now we got them going the right direction. Come on, girls, let's go. Hip, hip, hip. It is Monday afternoon. Got a little bit of a rain shower, but nothing too major. So I think the name of the game today is let's get the tractors put back together. The 29 apparently actually is fixed. Jason, the guy who actually rebuilt the engine on the 2030, Dad talked to him. He said he'd stop over, and what they found, or what Jason had found, is that I put this all together the way it was on the other one, because this block and the one on the original one looked exactly the same. He thought that these two are actually switched. So he took this wire, which was over here, put it over here, and ran it. But then apparently they had a little bit of an issue with this guy. And they just disconnected it, because technically this block does already have a ground to it through the whole electrical system. And it works just fine. So that was awesome. But I'll have to get the panel back on. We'll do that today yet. All right, so we got to put back together. It usually does go back together a little bit. You know, it's really not too bad. We've gotten used to it. But one thing, I know when Jason was over here the other day, when he looked at the 29, he actually made the suggestion, because we run 80-90 gear lube in here, which is recommended in the book. It gives different ranges. But Jason did say that some people have been running, like, they just run straight hydraulic oil in it, because it's obviously a lot more viscous. It's not as thick, a lot thinner. So the guy at our dealer, and our dealer is actually pretty good. They're like 45 minutes away. That's the only bad part. They're Quinlan's and Anago. So the dealer's been pretty decent with us. It's just, I don't blame the dealer. I blame the machine, because it does have some design flaws and it's just annoying. But they've been pretty decent with us, and the head of service has been pretty decent. He recommended trying a 75-90, which we don't usually work with 75-90. So when we're pouring it, it's like, whoa, that's darn near hydraulic fluid. So as far as like how thin it is. All right, let me clean this up and then we'll head back down to the farm. Plus, this is my mode of transportation to get back home. All right, so steers got their bale. And this stuff's still pretty good. These guys do need, this guy needs some bedding pretty quick. This stuff's still not too bad. You know, you can tell it's a little older. But on another note, apparently I need to move the cows. They must have been hungry yesterday. There was good grass on that chunk too. So the next chunk that they're getting doesn't have any, barely has any of that weed in it, and has some pretty good grass. They should make it 2 days. Photo's always itching to get in right away. Aren't you, Photo? These girls up front just need to get going. Creating a traffic jam, girls. Come on. There we go. Cher has turned into a big girl. Hey, how's it going? All right, Wednesday afternoon. On the dock for today, I think Dad's cutting hay or going to be cutting hay. He's not cutting right now, and I gotta find out why. But gotta move the cows and then figure out what we're gonna feed the steers. And then I think I got a couple other things I can do today too, but we'll see if we get to them. All right, so Dad is off to start cutting the big chunk that's just east of our property. But as you can tell, cows want to get moved, so that's first on my list. Dad needed some fuel, and he also wanted to quick go over the knives quick and just do a quick buzz up on them, just to sharpen them up a little bit. I think I gotta pick up a line. It's probably my best bet. And then we'll get these guys set, and we'll get them moved and make them happy. Holy criminy! This field came back nice. So I think this is ryegrass in here. I'm pretty sure that's ryegrass. But this stuff came in, I mean, this stuff, like the ryegrass is belly button high. Some of it's even, yeah, it's over my belly button. So we're gonna try for thirds again. We're off here. Now we're gonna try for over here and then the other third. If I recall, this first section I did 3 days on, and I think maybe the next one too. So it's almost to where it was the first time we went through it. We will find out. If I gotta move them, I gotta move them. But it's thick. It is thick. So let's get these guys moved. So yeah, they are trampling a lot, but they'll come back and they'll pick a lot of this stuff back up. So it'll be interesting to see how well they do. And you can definitely tell that some of these calves are really starting to go at the grass. You know, got a little bit of some loose butts, because they are getting to that size, that age where, you know, they're probably splitting the difference with mom and grass. Might hook up the brush hog and head out here, at least to get some of it done. I don't think we're going to be picking up bales for a couple of days, so might be a good time to do it. All right, everything is set up, and again, I just want to knock down these weeds, so I got to make sure the way my cutter is set that I'm definitely staying like 4 or 5 inches off the ground, so I'm not disturbing any of the grass. Only really the clover is starting to come in just a little bit, but that's like at that 3-inch level, so I should be plenty good enough. Let's start cutting it and see how she does. doing a super slow, high quality job. I'm just trying to knock down the major stubble. And besides, the stuff's so old and dry, it's hacking off pretty easy. That did not go too bad. Yeah, it didn't go too bad at all. Hey, how's it going? Thursday afternoon. Dad is gonna head up and start cutting again. So while he's doing that, I'm gonna actually go, since I got the brush hog still on, I'm gonna go do a little bit of brush hogging. And then I need to look over the 2030, need to look over the baler, just checking twine, making sure that's ready to go. So I have finally made it down to the shop. Spent probably a good hour or so on the tractor. Got to make sure the 2030's got enough diesel in it, check the oil. What else? Oh, and then I need to make sure that there is twine, or how much twine is in the baler. Everything is with the 2030. Fuel gauge hasn't worked in a number of years, so nothing like a good stick to check your fuel with. So Dad does need a ball of twine put in there. He's got about 3/4 of a ball in there already. Probably enough to handle whatever he's gonna bale, if he bales tomorrow. Hey, how's it going? Happy Friday. All right, on the dock for today, Dad has been kicking ass and taking names today. Apparently he's shooting for that overachiever award. He finished cutting the rest of the hay, so first crop hay, as far as we're concerned, is cut. All right, there are freaking rabbits everywhere this year. Anybody else out there seeing a crap ton of rabbits? I don't know if that's just like a northern Wisconsin thing because we had such a mild winter this past winter that it just made for such good conditions to grow rabbits or breed rabbits. I don't know, whatever. Yeah, drop that in the comments if you're seeing a lot of rabbits this year. I do need a line, so I'm gonna go pick one up. This is the old sorghum field that we shredded up the other day. All right, so I'm walking back with the line. There's a little bit of unevenness, but I mean, I'm walking through like knee-high, thigh-high, thick grass. Which is pretty darn awesome. Some of the, where the grass is a little shorter, the clover came in a little bit harder. And here we go. Only had one that slipped by, Helga's little bull calf, who honestly isn't that little anymore. But yeah, we got him in, no problem. We'll probably bring these girls in 2 months and give them a preg check and get a good idea of, are we bull bred or are we AI bred? Is this AK 431? This is one of our first calf heifers. So she's a 2-year-old. She's a cowboy cut out of a beef maker. So she's holding together pretty decent. Here is our Allegiance. She has a mic drop heifer. Here is our Allegiance first calf heifer. She's an Allegiance out of a True Justice. So she's doing a nice job. She's got, there's her mic drop bull calf. So conditions holding up pretty decent. And you got our Dominion heifer. See, here's Lily. It's the end of the week. It's Friday. Hope you guys had a great Friday. Hope you have a great weekend. Hope you liked the video. Please hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you're subscribing. Support the channel. If you want to, share our content just in case you think somebody else might benefit or might like our channel. If you got any questions, please leave them in the comments. And as always, thanks for coming along.